Hey, Sarah.
I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. Hello.
How are you doing?
Confused about finding the link because we realized the last minute that it wasn't my team's invitation.
Yeah, I took over, so
I haven't been to a meeting since then. Now, after all this stress of getting it ready on time, no one's coming. Oh no, okay, it's
No, I
here.
have to check.
that's all right. We'll get a few people, I'm sure.
Charlie said so. Florian had some strange thing with his meeting invitation that he downloaded it from WeDoWind and then it was the wrong time. It was like an hour later, wasn't it? Weird.
Yeah.
So I had this problem as well, and I contacted Mighty Networks, and they said they're working on a fix, but then I have not heard back, and that was like 6 months ago or something.
But what problem did you have then?
So the same. So I downloaded the like series invite, but because the meetings were set up in CET, everything was shifted 1 hour. So in my calendar, it was set up as like 3 o'clock when it was actually at 2 o'clock. So I was like,
I wonder why it just did it to Florian, not to other ones.
hmm.
Well,
So previously it did it to mine, but interestingly, that it's not done it to everyone's.
Well,
I don't know.
when I entered this entry, it says from 3 to 4. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I saw that as well in mine. So there must be something in that ICS file that's messing it up.
So what's happened? Hi, by the way.
hello.
Hey, Chris.
I thought that Florian was going to come to his meeting an hour later because in his calendar it saved. He downloaded it from WeDoWind and it saved in his calendar an hour later for some unknown reason.
Okay.
The home officer would have probably.
He wouldn't have come at all.
I guess it has to do with the daylight saving. It's always causing this problems. I just realized I got flight reminders from in my calendar, and they're like it didn't pick up the change of the time. So if I would trust those, I would go to the airport at the wrong time.
That one's quite an important one.
Yeah, I wouldn't look though in my calendar to know when I'm going to the airport. Like,
and the priority is to get the maps in place.
Jorge, I saw that your post about the 1 Hertz data was had a long conversation in LinkedIn. Amazing. You know what my goal is? That you do that, have a conversation like that in WeDoWind instead of on LinkedIn.
Yes. In fact, I I paste it on WeDoWind, and the idea is to somehow invite people in, because I think that I mean, like, to promote a way of finding a standard aggregation time for wind data, like a sort of step-by-step analysis, some sort of workshop inside WeDoWind, like, and to say, hey, what's to answer the question, what would be the optimal aggregation period for wind data without losing information?
Yeah, this would be another topic, but I guess the answer will be it depends on the application, because we were just preparing this data for this challenge and we were talking about the same thing. Like, we have 1 Hertz data?
But I figured out, I was thinking about that yesterday, and I figured out that if we have different data sets across the world, okay, in an ideal scenario, okay, with a let's exaggerate, let's say a 1 kilohertz frequency rate, okay, and we plot the for instance the standard deviation of the turbulence versus the wind speed. We select where the variance or the range is at what we respond. We answer the question at what wind speed, which wind speeds show the maximum range or variance. standard deviation. Okay, we focus on these windows. Okay, and then we can apply an autocorrelation function. Okay, and then a clustering method, and I think we could have the optimal. Okay, averaging across the world.
I think we can set up a different separate WeDoWind challenge for that topic, and actually you should be able to do that yourself. We can have a separate meeting to talk about how to do that. It should be possible
Okay.
to set up
Yeah.
that by
Let's organize.
WeDoWind is to be able to empower people to do that themselves, so that we don't
Yes.
have to manage all the tasks. Let's have a chat about that separately.
Okay. Perfect.
Today we want to focus on this new challenge.
Perfect. And that can be linked to a standard, to a digitalization, the task group. You know, it can somehow be embedded in this discussion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So today we have this Static Yaw Ground Truth challenge.
Yes, that's the idea today. Charlie, do you expect is there other people who come regularly who you're expecting to come, or should we just start?
I think we just start because it's 5 minutes past. So
6 minutes past. You're recording
Yep.
it. Everyone when you joined you, they're recording.
yes, it should be recording already. Let me just double check that. Yep, it's recording.
Okay, so let's start then. Yeah, Charlie, we said you can start, right?
Yep, yeah, so I'll do a quick intro. So yeah, this is the WeDoWind Open Data Exploration Group. Cool. And we're launching this new challenge, which is on Static Yaw Ground Truth. So basically, we've run some previous challenges around static yaw misalignments and how to calculate them, but we've never known what the true static yaw misalignment is on those turbines because we've never applied one directly. So with this new challenge, we've had a turbine and we've made some changes to it. And I'll describe this in the second part of the call. But here we've got a ground truth in that we know what changes we've made to the static yaw misalignment, so we can try and calculate the changes, determine those changes, and then hopefully come up with a method that is validated for calculating static yaw misalignments. So yeah, the agenda: introduction to WeDoWind, which Sarah will run through for anyone new, and then I'll introduce the challenge, and then hopefully Florian will have a good demonstration of how to set things up in Renku and run an analysis. And then we got some question and answer time at the end. So yeah, I'll hand across to Sarah.
Yeah, all right. Important thing that Charlie said was the word Renku, and the reason this challenge is exciting, apart from the fact we've got new measurements, is that we're testing the use of a data science platform within the challenge to make the results more reusable and interoperable later. But we'll explain, or Florian's going to explain that later. So to those of you who are new to WeDoWind, if those of you who are not, I'm sorry, you're going to hear the same thing again. My name's Sarah Barber. So I started this whole WeDoWind business. I'm at the University of Eastern Switzerland University of Applied Sciences here in Switzerland, and what I also do is lead IEA Wind Task 43 on digitalization in wind energy. And one of the things we really noticed in digitalization is that data sharing is one of the barriers to fostering digitalization. So with WeDoWind, we want to try to improve data sharing, basically. And so the mission is we want to exploit this full value of data in the sector. The vision is that we have an industry where data and knowledge flow freely, or let's say more freely. And we want to do that by sharing open data code and best practices. We know that not everyone's going to share all their data and code, but we think at least getting more sharing happening, we can accelerate innovation. And one of the other things we want to do is we think that if people share standards and tools, we might be able to move from spending 80% of your time on cleaning to spending 20% of your time on cleaning. If we share data cleaning codes, for example, we don't have to repeat everything we're doing all the time, then the work will be more efficient. That's what we're trying to do here. So WeDoWind is a community. It's a platform for people to talk to each other and meet each other and find out what's going on. There's people from different areas of wind energy. So we have asset owners, operators, service providers, researchers, educators, and students. As I said, it was founded at my university, OST, and we've developed this thing called WeDo Data Blueprint, which is basically like a template or a blueprint for an open innovation ecosystem for any area. We're actually trying to expand it to energy as well. But people inside this ecosystem can co-create information models or ontologies or data models. They can access open data sets, develop reference methods, and also educational content. The idea is to get lots of people from all over the world. Together, it's free. We want anybody to be able to access it. And we started in January officially with this platform. We've got, I don't know what now, 400 plus people who are involved. And we're growing, and we're happy when people come and join us and grow the community and grow the network. So this blueprint is basically a model for open collaboration, and we have these 4 communities inside the overall community. So we have an information modeling community, an open data and code community, a collaborative problem solving community, and a data and code users community. And inside, my screen's just gone black. Okay. Inside these communities, people share and align data, define best practices, run these type of challenges that we're talking about today, also access training and jobs. And so what we also do at WeDoWind is that we help people advise on knowledge engineering, ontologies, etc. We help organizations prepare data. So there's another challenge running by Res on WeDoWind, and we supported them in preparing the data openly. Then we design and run these challenges. And also we actively participate in all the standardization groups like IEA, RDA, Wind Europe, European Academy of Wind Energy. As I said before, we have lots of members from lots of different types of organizations, and yeah, things that we're doing are contributing to Wind Europe conferences and European Academy of Wind Energy conferences, and also different workshops. We've had a few, let's say, success stories. So our first challenge was with EDP, where we actually estimated how much savings we were making with the new fault detection models that were developed. We published a paper about it with RTDT, who's a Swiss company. They published some data, and they got access to like 5 different structural health monitoring codes. Res has recently published a data set, and we're currently running a challenge about power prediction. And Nuveen is the company that Charlie works for, and we've done a previous challenge with him as well, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Yes, so these are also some of the organizations we've worked together with, or we've got data from. You can see here. So yeah, happy to have as many people as possible joining. And then just a quick overview about what WeDoWind actually is, like what does this blueprint look like. And so we basically connect you with all these different information models and best practices, like I said before. But we also provide you with like working groups. So we have information modeling working groups. There's a group working on a wind energy domain ontology, for example, which Yuri is here today leads. We have these different challenges. So we're basically trying to get people together to co-create things together and communicate that with everybody else. And it's also about the people. So the idea is that maybe somebody develops a guideline in one of the working groups, but this person wants to actually use that in a challenge. And so they jump over to one of the challenges, and then they share what they've learned in that with the challenge participants. And the idea is that people also like learn from each other. We have a job portal which we haven't officially announced yet because we're just working on it. We're going to have a student space soon where we get students involved actively, and things like that. And this is the blueprint that I was mentioning. So we have these 4 green communities, and the idea is that they all interact with each other. So this community is developing some type of schema or ontology. This then gets used to describe the data. We don't actually have an open data portal dedicated to wind energy yet, but we're currently working on one. And the idea is that then this data published here gets used for the challenges in the collaborative problem solving community, and the code gets improved through these challenges. And then we have a data users community who is learning about using the data as well, and then the jobs portal here. So these are the things that summarizing what I said before. And this communication platform is basically the thing that's holding this all together. So like the backbone of all the people, how they actually access all this stuff inside here. We use this commercial software called Mighty Networks. And Mighty Networks, you've probably been on the platform already. You can see these different communities, and you can click through the different spaces and see what's going on in the different communities. You can also click through different resources, like you can find some data, lists of data sets. We've also got an ontology publishing portal with some ontologies on it. And as I said before, we're working on an open knowledge hub for data and code. If you haven't been to the platform yet, but I guess you have if you're here, I'll put the link in the chat in a minute. It looks like this. What you can do to get involved, the first thing you can do if you've got lots of money or work for a company who has, you can donate. We're officially a non-profit organization, so anything donated will be used to run events like these. You can start a discussion. So I was just talking to Jorge at the beginning, who started off a discussion about 1 Hertz data, and so any of you can write anything in the general discussion. I put the link here to where that is, about anything to do with data. And there's also inside each space, there's a thing called a feed where you can post just for that space. You can join a challenge and attend the next meeting. You can join challenges in the middle. You don't have to be there at the beginning. You can join an information modeling group and just look on the events and sign up for the next meeting. The same for the data users group or the open data group. You can also create your new challenge. At the moment, in order to do that, you need to contact me and we need to do it together. You can also sponsor WeDoWind, and again, you can contact me. The other thing you can do is you can post a job opening. Again, it's not been announced officially, but there is a job portal and you have to pay to create an opening, but you can post, if you're looking for a job, you can post something about yourself looking for a job for free. And so that's it. So being part of WeDoWind, it's an opportunity for you to contribute data that drives solution for real industry problems, to position your company at the heart of innovation, to access a global pool of talent and expertise and help shape the standards of the future wind industry, or contribute to these challenges, which I hope some of you will do. So I'm going to pass it over to Charlie to tell you a little bit more about space and the new challenge.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. That's a good intro to WeDoWind. So the Open Data Exploration Space, ODE, is the space that I run within the WeDoWind community. And I originally set this up, well, give it a little bit of background. My original background is doing a PhD in wind energy systems, and at the time I had a fair amount of time to do some research and delve into data. But obviously the catch was I never got access to data. It's actually very hard to access data from wind turbines or wind farms, for instance. Then I worked for a consultancy. Then I worked for an investor or owner of wind turbines and wind farms. And now I work for another investor in wind, solar and battery storage projects, WeDoWind. And as I transitioned, I realized a couple of things. So one was the transition from consultancy, where I developed a kind of code base and then moved into an investor, and all that code that I developed in the consultancy effectively was lost to me. I was like, that's a bit annoying. It would be better if that was open source, and then I would be able to use it in my new job as well as my previous job and not have to redevelop what I'd already developed in the past. And then the other thing I realized was when you work for an investor, actually you have zero time to actually spend on analytics and developing code. But you have a ton of data available to you. So I was like, well, wouldn't it be great if companies release the data openly, and then it would allow the research guys who want data but have lots of time but want data and can't get access it, and you combine that with the guys in industry who have lots of data but no time to analyze it. So when I was in Cubico, I released 2 data sets from Penmanshire and Kelmarsh wind farms. And then I wanted to advertise that these data sets were available so that people knew they existed and could use them. And as part of that was the setting up of this open data exploration space. So bring people together, we'd work on challenges that my previous company would be interested in getting solved. And so both sides would get a win-win. So I've continued the space into my new company because I like the idea still. I want people to be sharing and working together. And so, yeah, still here. I'm pushing for a new challenge, which I'll explain in a second. But maybe if we move on to just talk about the other challenges that we've already run. So the first one was an operational energy yield assessment. So quite often when you're buying or selling assets, you need to know what the long-term production of the asset is going to be. So that's what an operational energy yield assessment tells you. The thing is, you can get 5 different consultancies to run the analysis on the same set of data, and then you end up with 5 different answers. And so this challenge was to say, okay, well, let's open this up. Let's see what people come up with when they analyze the data. Try and compare the differences, like differences in loss calculations or methodologies, and see if we can get some more consensus around what the correct assumptions are for forward-looking forecasts. So yeah, that was challenge 1. The second challenge was to say, okay, well, we've got this data from the wind farm. Static yaw misalignments, which are where the turbine tries to point into the wind but has a misalignment, so never quite gets it right and doesn't maximize energy production for that reason, was the second challenge. So we used the data from Kelmarsh wind farm and tried to analyze what the misalignments might be. The catch being we could run our analysis. We had a few different entries with different results for each of the turbines, but we didn't know what the correct result was. So we had some turbines that looked like they might be misaligned by up to like 6 degrees, but we couldn't say, yes, that turbine is misaligned by 6 degrees because we couldn't create the correction or have a separate measurement to confirm that.
Yeah, the target includes the error.
Yep.
Mm.
And so following on from that, part of the way you often do these static yaw misalignment analyses is by using the wind speed and measurements that turbine has. And one of the issues is we know the wind speed behind the turbine, behind the rotor measured on the nacelle of the turbine, is influenced by the static yaw misalignment. Both the speed of the wind speed is influenced by the yaw misalignment the turbine is like experiencing, and also the wind direction can be affected as well because you've got the flows flowing around the rotor. So both of those can impact on your calculations. So what we said was, let's run a challenge where we try and independently determine the wind speed at a turbine using only data from other turbines. And so that measurement would be, in theory, totally independent of the target turbine. So we did that challenge actually this time last year and ran it till December. And now we're doing a follow-up challenge where we have a turbine and we've offset the turbine every 2 or 3 weeks. And we know what those offsets we've applied are in the control system. We know what direction misalignment we've applied. So now we have a sort of ground truth. I say sort of because when the turbine is set up with 0 degrees offset, we don't actually know if that turbine is perfectly aligned to maximize production for that angle. But what we do know is we've set the turbine up at 0 degrees, we've set the turbine up at 6 degrees. We know there's a 6-degree difference in the offset for that turbine. So
6 degrees
now,
is all the answer, by the way. Yeah, that was good.
So we ran with a number of different misalignments, not just 6 degrees, if 6 degrees was used. And so the challenge now is to try and identify what these relative offsets were.
Yeah.
And as part of this challenge, so yeah, the aim to predict the static yaw offsets of the OST research wind turbine for the test data set. So we've got a test data set where we will actually tell you what misalignments were applied. And then we've got a test data set. Oh, sorry, training data set I was talking about. Then we've got a test data set where we don't tell you what misalignments have been applied and you have to determine what they might be. So you have to determine what those relative changes in offsets were.
Charlie, maybe I can quickly just say, so the data set is described. If you go to the challenge description, I put the link in the chat, you'll see that everything's described in there. And at some point, there's a link to the dataset description where you come to this page, which I copied on the left here. And from there, there's a link to Zenodo. I have to say, right at this second, I think the new version hasn't been published yet. Yuri, is this correct? It will be in the next couple of minutes, I think. Or
yeah, in the next couple hours, maybe not minutes, but yeah.
So we've used this Poisson type to describe the data, and there's a link to describe what that means in the challenge description. And we will here at the moment there's just one. We're using this Parquet format. At the moment you just see one, but I think in the new version then you're going to see one called training, one called test, and we have a JSON LD file which is describing the data sets. So the training data, this is still correct, right? The training data includes 3 known offsets, so we do have 6 degrees in there. And then the test data set, we have different segments of 1 hour, which has been shuffled around. So you don't know what the actual your offsets are at those periods. And that's what you use for the leaderboard. So that we'll explain to Florian will explain to in a minute how you submit it. But that's what gets used to create this public leaderboard. The date and time is obscured and just replaced with a relative time inside each segment. And also the static yaw position labels are removed. And then we have a row ID and a segment ID in there, which you can use. And we've also removed some more data for a private test, which contain then an unknown mystery offset. And we're not going to calculate the results of that until after the challenge is closed, so that you don't cheat, right? So the public data set, the public test set you'll be provided with, and then you could make submissions 10 times if you want, anytime you want, and we then update this leaderboard, so you can see how well it's doing. But then after it's closed, we'll test it on this private data set, and then the final score will come up. I think some of you might have done some Kaggle challenges before. I think it's similar. You can have a public. I think Charlie even did that on the Kaggle challenge last time, didn't you? You had one public.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Right at the last minute. Yeah. So we'll have that as well. So that's the data. Sorry, I just completely took over. But I think Florian's going to take over now anyway. So we are using this thing called Renku, which is a data science platform developed by the Swiss Data Science Center. We have a project together with them. And the general idea of Renku is, as I said before, to make coding or resulting code more interoperable. So instead of just everybody working on GitHub and then throwing their results on GitHub afterwards, and then if you want to use that, you download it into your own environment and spend millions of years trying to get it to work. The idea is that all the code is actually being developed and saved inside this closed environment. And then, first of all, if you want to work together with people, it makes it much easier. And secondly, then if we want to plot results of the challenges, we can just take the folders, and then in the future, people can continue working on your code more easily instead of having to fight with trying to get it installed on their system. So we are trying to. We're not saying we're going to use this for all WeDoWind challenges in the future, but we're trying to test this for this challenge. And so you don't have to use Renku, actually. Florian will explain it in a minute, but we would like to encourage you to do so. You can't really share the screen because, oh, you can share the screen.
I
actually,
can share my screen.
but you just can't share it with me on there. Oh, I can share. Okay.
You can see it on
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Maybe you should just share your screen and do it
Yes,
yourself.
yes.
So I've put it all into this PowerPoint, but actually it's all written in the WeDoWind challenge description anyway. So Florian will just go through the steps.
I will go not through the slides, but a live coding
Yes, exactly,
or
yeah.
showcase event. I think you have to release.
I don't know. I guess you can do it.
Okay. You should see now different tabs. Is that right? Yes, looks good.
That's what you've
Yep.
done.
Okay, cool. So maybe I share first the link to Renku, that you have it as well.
I can do that. I can do all the links while you're talking.
Okay, so you have a few options. The main option to log into Renku is with your GitHub account, which is very neat. You don't have to set up everything else. You just click on it, and then you have access basically to Renku. There are many examples already. And this is what you see now, one example, or the Renku space for this challenge that we created already. It's a template, and we'll get to this later. But it has three main sections. It has a session, which contains compute resources plus a complete environment for Python, and you can also create for R and many different programming languages. And then you have two other resources, which is data, where you can add data connectors, and code repositories, where you could potentially add your own GitHub repo if you have one. And the neat thing about this data connector is that it automatically downloads and mounts public data in your Renku session as soon as you start it. We created a public one, Drive, where we will provide some read-only information. And then we already have a data connector for this Aventa Zenodo dataset. So you don't have to download it yourself. You just launch the session, and you will have the data already ready in your session. So this is a template, and the cool thing about this is that you can just go on the site and copy your own project. And then you have your own Renku space where you can do your changes, you can add your own data connectors, you can add code repositories as you like. I did that already. This is on the next tab.
I think the screenshot we put in the instructions on WeDoWind has a copy of what it looks like to people who not you.
Yes.
People, and it says it's easy. You can see it says copy project at the top. Probably if you click on that link, you'll see as well.
So, and yeah, this is the public name, WeDoWind namespace here. And when you have your own project, you have all your information here. It's my username. I'm the only member. You can, when you have a team, you can add members there, and then you work together on this project, and you share a compute resource. And you also see where it was copied from.
Maybe you should just quickly say you need a Renku account to do it.
Yes, yeah, you need a Renku account, and I mean, you basically have one if you have a GitHub account. You just log in, and then the thing about Renku and the Renku session is nothing is permanent. So as soon as you close a session and shut it down, all your data is gone. That's why we created for each participant, as soon as you sign up, a switch drive private folder, which you then can easily add by adding a data connector. What you will get is a namespace and a slug. I created one already here, and then you just link data connector, and then you have a password protected switch drive folder where you can save all your code and data that is then persistent.
And they get that password once they've signed themselves up on a
Yes.
link, right? Yeah.
So you will get two passwords, one for this public drive, which is read-only, and then read and write for this private space where you have to persist the data. And then you can also change the compute resources of your session. If you click on the name, for example, here, you will get a pop-up on the right side, and then you can scroll down a bit. The default resource class is, we created one for WeDoWind, but you can change it. The default Renko ones, they're not too powerful, but for this challenge, they created a WeDoWind resource for us, and you will get access to that as soon as you have a Renko account and I think follow the link to sign up.
But it says it in the instructions. It says
Okay.
in step 1 of the instructions, it says get a Renko account, and then there's a link. You have to sign up for the resource pool, and the Renko team get that automatically, and we don't. They do that
Okay,
automatically.
and then you have access to this large resource pool, which is a 4 CPU core with 16 gigabytes of RAM. We thought this might be enough for the data set that is provided. If you need more resources, I assume you would have to spin up your own thing or do it locally, but I think for this challenge, this should be sufficient. And once that is set up, you can run or open the session. Then it will take some time, a few minutes, to set everything up. And then you will be greeted with this, like a normal Jupyter session, as you might know it already. You will see this Aventa folder, which is the Zenodo one that is automatically mounted by this data connector. The drive one, that is the public switch drive folder, and your private switch drive folder. In my case, I just called it kickoff. And here I started already setting up my files and my code. Everything that you see here will be reset. So if you save any files in this space right now and you restart the session, shut it down and restart it, it will be lost. Where it will be persisted is if you go into your private switch drive folder. So this one would not be purged.
So you have to, anything you do, you have to copy into there, basically.
Yes. So what the first thing you should do is use this OpenAI startup notebook and put it in your private folder.
Maybe say something about OpenAI.
Right. So this Renko session comes with OpenAI.
Eric's
can
here,
also
by the way.
share the link. Yeah, Eric is the developer. It's an open operation and analysis library for wind farm data and wind turbines. And we included it already, so you don't need to install it yourself. And here's just a simple starter notebook that does some basic analysis. It shows you.
Sorry, that's my fault.
It shows you how to load our data into OpenAI and do some basic analysis just to get you started and see how this works.
The idea that people can use OpenAI if they want and even adapt it, or they can create their own code from the start. That's
Yes.
the idea, is it?
That's the idea.
Yeah. So a good thing to do would be try to get OpenAI to run with the data in the first place, and then see if there's anything you need to change.
Yes, that's the plan. And that's it for now. I mean, I want to stress again, if you want to have persistent data, use this your private switch drive folder, which you will get access to once you sign up for the challenge.
And then about reading in the data, because we've got this Parquet format, there's a code to do that already. Or how there's a data.
Yes, I mean that's a basic, if you know pandas or polars, or most of the Python libraries have a read Parquet function, right? You just put it in and then you have access to this data.
I can
Arrow.
actually pick up some of this
Yes.
if you don't mind, Florian. So right now there is only one the starter IMPB will add shortly another notebook that shows how you can read in the data and read in metadata. it will, as we mentioned, we're using this ML croissant format for metadata, which is very cool specification. You can do a lot of things with it. So there will be some example on how to use it, how to read it up. You don't have to use it directly. It's also human readable. You can just open a JSON file and read it. The thing is with, or if you're very comfortable with that or have seen it being used before, because it is used by platforms like Kaggle and used by Google quite a lot for Next AI. The issue with ML croissant specifically is that it's very conservative when you load data through it, or when you prepare data through it. So you can use it for metadata. You can also use it to read in data, but we would not recommend to use it to read in data or to into like pandas. It's much better, much faster to use any pi-arrow classical reading into the data set instead of using ML croissant, a native preparation. But that one does help to like verify and validate everything, but it's just on 14 million records it would be too long probably. So we don't recommend using that. So this is it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, then the next thing would be submissions. The idea is that you will have your own submissions folder in your private switch drive. And we thought about that you simply upload a CSV file with a naming convention, which should be also described in the slide and the how-to, which has basically two columns, a row ID and a yaw offset that you predict. And then we will periodically with the script read this data in and update the leaderboard.
Maybe I can say more about the admin stuff. Is there anything else about using Renko that needs to be said?
one more thing I wanted to say. So this is a workflow where you basically use notebooks only. If you're more comfortable with writing your own library, I would suggest that you add your own, you create a GitHub repository and you add it as a connector here. You can simply add a link to it. And then you also have your code available in the session and you can commit changes there, and of course that's persistent in as well, and you wouldn't need to use this the switch drive folder just for notebooks or anything that you don't put under version control.
Can we add that to the instructions? Because I don't think that point is in the instructions. I think
Yes,
we've got
we can
that option we don't have. Then the other option is not using Renko at all, in which case you'll get a switch drive password to upload your code to.
Yes, instead of the slug and the name for the data connector, you would get a link and a password to the folder.
Questions? The people who are intending perhaps to take part in this challenge, does everything seem clear, or is it more a matter of trying it and seeing first before you ask questions? Or
just a comment. Great to see this croissant metadata format. So Yuri and I talked about it in at WESC in Nantes, I think, but I've not. It's been on my list, but I've not actually played around with it. So now I get a chance to. It looks very good.
You will get to play with it, but you cannot imagine the amounts of pain I had to endure through to make them.
Okay, amount of pain.
so is it?
You're not meant to say that, Yuri. You're meant to say it's great and easy, and here are the instructions.
No, using it is easy. Preparing it, if you don't like for the first time, is
like, okay, we'll talk about it later, but we can talk about it another time. But that's all great, right? Can you unshare your screen and then I'll share mine. So maybe just as a summary then, just to go finish the presentation. So the deadline of this challenge is the 31st of January, and we'll have the final presentation in the monthly meeting that comes after that. I think Charlie, do you have to extend the event, the webinars, are they all in? I can't remember anymore. Have you got them in?
Yeah, I might need to go through and check
Oh,
how
it's
long the webinars last to.
December, yeah. So if you maybe extend those a bit. So the idea is that you can submit to this folder, as Florian said, your results anytime, and it will automatically update it. And then when we have the monthly meetings, we can have a, like Charlie's done in the previous challenge, we can then have a look at what people have done. And then after the end, we'll give you this private test data set. So I've copied here the instructions that are on WeDoWind, which is the same as what Florian just said. It's just written down that you can create this output CSV file for the test data set. Anytime you can save it into your subfolder. And again, if you're not using Renku, you can upload your results with the upload link. But I think this option you just mentioned about using your own data code connector on GitHub could be added to that.
Yeah,
and then before the deadline, you should submit your final result. So whatever the last one you submit will be taken as your final result. And then you also need to do a very brief method description. And the idea behind that is we want people to present their results in the meeting anyway in February, and to avoid extra work, we're just asking you to submit your slides, and then we'll have the slides in this final summary of solutions. We'll have the slides so it's easy to see the different methods that people have presented. And then after the deadline, we'll do the private test. So we'll provide you with a new data set for a mystery value, and then we'll use those new results to calculate the final score. And after that, we have changes to 6. We'll ask you to carry out a participant survey as well, which we do for every challenge, but that'll come afterwards. The leaderboard looks like this at the moment. So it's linked to inside WeDoWind. It's just a GitHub record. And so just kind of summarize why you should take part. So the advantage is that you get to work with real ground truth data, even though it's not real, relative ground truth data. But as far as we know, there's no data like this available. Because we're using Renku, I know that's the third point. The second point is contributing to OpenOA. So if you do develop a method that works better than OpenOA's, the hope is that we can then integrate that, commit that to OpenOA, and you're actually contributing to improving open source codes. And then the third point is the Renku point. If you do use Renku, you're creating reproducible collaborative data science, and that can be taken to future projects. The idea is also that you can join a vibrant expert community with industry and academia, and then you can gain visibility as well and career growth if you're looking for job opportunities or even project partners and stuff like that. So the next important step is that after you've done the Mentimeter in a minute that I'm going to tell you about, if you want to participate, you should register yourself. You have to register yourself here, otherwise the whole process doesn't work. What I just want to quickly show you about that is maybe I can just show, it's easier if I show it on here. So on the open data exploration space, if you go to the Static Yaw Ground Truth challenge, you see all these descriptions that I just told you about. And somewhere it says, right, top, instructions, no, it's above here, participation instructions. So the first thing it says is you need to register here, and that takes you to another WeDoWind post with this table in. You can actually link to the Google Doc if you prefer. What I just wanted to say is that I've seen some people have entered already. Oh, Christian has done it just now, I think. And I added some columns like yesterday or something. And so because we want to know if you want to use Renku, because we want to know whether we have to provide you with the folder password or not. And actually, maybe we don't need the GitHub usernames anymore. But we did think we needed them so that we could add the folders, but maybe we don't need them anymore. Maybe we just need one email. It doesn't matter anyway, they're on there.
We will need the Renku username, or once you log in.
We said we needed. Yeah, you wanted,
to
because you
check,
wanted
yeah.
to add people to these
I
folders.
need to create teams or groups where there might be individuals just in there or many people. So actually, I would need the GitHub username.
Yeah, so you need, so but that's of all team members, so everyone who needs to access your folder. So if you have other team members who are going to be working on this with you, then add them here. I don't know whether, I saw there's 2 people here from this university. I don't know if anyone's here right now. I think probably you're not. Is either of you 2 here? I don't remember seeing your names. It's just that I can write to them separately, but I was wondering if they were in one team or not. You can also write if you're looking for a team, and you can join forces. So at the moment, there's 1 person looking for a team, which doesn't really work until we get 2 people looking for a team. And so, yeah, the first step is to fill that out. Your participant ID is just this number here. And then we'll periodically look at this and send you the password and the data connector slug that you need. Yeah, but you need to yourself, what I haven't written on here is that you need to yourself fill out this Renku. Sorry, this stupid black bar is complete. There you go. Sorry, I have a problem with showing my screen that the black bar at the top gets in the way of everything, and I can't get rid of it. I'm actually having quite. Okay, sorry. I was trying to go back to. Oh, it's gone now. Sorry, I was trying to go back here. Let me go back here. It says after the step of doing the participation, it says that's it. Register yourself here, and then later on, if you want to use Renku, you have to create an account. But you also have to sign up for this resource pool that we said about. You have to do it yourself. We're not going to do that for you. It's just a very quick form that goes directly to the Renku people. So that's the next step. Now I've got a quick Mentimeter with a couple of questions in case anyone feels like filling it out. Oops, sorry. I can put the link in, but I have to. Sorry, I know. I'll just remove that back away, and then people can still scan. Sorry, I can't get rid of this. What I actually wanted to do was to share the link with you. Chat. While I'm doing that, I'll put the presentation back so you can keep scanning. Just trying to get to the chat while you're doing that. Does anyone need the link? Because I can't get to the chat this second for some reason. Oh, no, okay, so the question will be, finally, what are you most interested in doing? Sharing ideas, learning some, that's 1 person's answer. I think you can rank. I don't know, I think that's a ranking. Last time,
Sarah, should it be Res in this case, or Richard maybe from Nuveen?
It could be Res as well. I forgot to change that. Well,
anyone.
People from Res.
Well, I guess Alex often shows up anyway.
Anyone else want to?
Yeah,
I
just so
have 8 people who've scanned it. 4
working in a team, I think it's very
working in a team
related with it's really embraces learning from others.
Yes, should do.
And, you know, yeah, that's they are correlated. That's why they are both.
Nobody wants to meet anyone from Res. Actually, so last time it's the same Mentimeter as I did in the Res launch. I just forgot to change it, and I remember that that was quite high up on the list. Actually, we can look. This is the joy
But
of
who is from Res here? Right?
Nobody. It's a mistake.
That's the thing. So okay, yeah.
I copied and pasted the webinar from from this meeting, which was the launch of the res, and I forgot to change it. That's all. So I don't know how quickly it's going to be to plan this out, but at the end of this, I did a Mentimeter to. Oh, here, look. Learning from meeting people from res was second.
A sense of where you probably are on the leaderboard,
But
to keep it exciting, it reveals what the actual score is on when the competition finally closes.
Yeah, we didn't put that on there, did we? Oh, I should have put that on.
yeah, but maybe there were people from res in that meeting.
So that's like a pre-configured Kaggle option to make it like a.
Okay, well, I'm quite interested in these results. So I'm really confused because I'm hearing myself talking.
It's because it's from Alex's recording.
I realised it now. I realised it.
Oh,
I realised it. That was very confusing, sorry. I was like, why is Alex suddenly talking? Like, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Then I will take part in the new challenge. Probably not. Ah, somebody's put probably not. Who's that? Is that you?
I didn't see that.
Should reset. Like you should see on the Menti.
It should have all come now. It only just come in Mentimeter. It doesn't come until I switch screens. So.
Ah, okay. That's a thing. Yeah, probably.
That's good. At least 6 people said probably. 2 people haven't answered yet.
I haven't answered because I closed the link.
Oh, you closed it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is so temporary here with this.
The link's out if you want to open it again.
Mm,
But it doesn't matter anyway. So we've got 7.
anyway, it's probably for me. So 8.
So we've got 8 probablys at least.
Yeah.
And what about using Renku? Like, do you feel like trying to use Renku? Yes, most people. 8.
Oh no.
5, 6. If it works.
Probably not.
No, not probably not. Probably.
No, it's with the Docker environment.
So most people say probably, which is good. So let's hope it works. That's it. We've got 3 minutes left. Any questions?
Cool. Maybe I'll do the quick sales pitch at the end as well. So yeah, I think this is a really cool challenge. It's good to have a unique data set to work on. We've got some known static yaw misalignments. We can potentially create something that can then benefit the whole of industry and apply that code into an open library like OpenOA for everyone to use. So real industry benefit. If we achieve a good result. The opportunity to work with OpenOA and learn from NREL's tool that they've developed. We got Renku to test out, which is quite fun. I think it's an interesting place to experiment so that we can share code more easily and run code more easily. Because sometimes you can share the code, but it takes a while to set up and run. Works on my machine, not on yours, kind of thing. And then we've got the cross-on data format to test out as well. So a few different things encompassed in this challenge. I encourage you all to sign up and then tell your friends and family or students and colleagues, get everyone involved, can form some teams, feel free to post on the community board so that we can have a bit of discussion and get involved. And then perhaps at the end we could put a paper together as well, do some more publicizing of the results.
And if everybody had written, put prize as their top priority, then Charlie would have thought about a prize to give you, but seeing nobody cares about prizes.
Yeah, no one worries about prizes.
Get a sticker, you'll get a WeDoWind sticker, which Charlie and I both have in our possession. Next time we see
Yes, there'll be some stickers when you meet us. Or if you provide us with a postal address, I can send some.
But actually, Charlie, last time I did the challenge, we did participation certificates, and I sent some I tried to send some Swiss chocolate, but I couldn't, and I sent some stickers and a participation certificate. So I think that's also an option. I should have put that on there actually as an option, but we can discuss it in the final meeting if people want participation certificates, because it is the kind of thing that might look good on your CV or whatever, especially as WeDoWind gets more popular. Okay, anyway, it's 4 o'clock. Any more last questions? Short questions?
No,
So guys,
I think it's
ask on the platform.
very clear. Yeah, it's very clear, and no, it's okay.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
No,
Yeah.
just let me know, Professor Sarah, when you have a time slot to discuss the
other challenge, yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. Somehow this standardization process and some other ideas.
I will set
More
up a meeting with you.
because these are more in the data engineering, not the data science.
It's a different topic, but I think it's
Yeah,
also
it's a different topic, but equally important for implementation. Yes.
yeah, I think it's a good topic.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
we can meet and I can talk to you about how to get it set up. All right.
Exactly. Okay, so just let me know. So thanks for your time.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, everyone.
have a nice
Charlie,
day.
Thank you.
Charlie, you put
Ciao.
recording on YouTube yourself, or shall I do it?
I think I've got to send it to you and then you upload it because
Fine, yes, because you couldn't log in.
restrictions. Yeah.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.